Welcome, 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 dear all, to twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. This is Stammer Stream, the two unusually large mangoes in a bucket of seaweed of manga podcasts. I'm your stammering host, Wensleydale Cheddar, here alongside your non-stammering hosts, Kastor UK and Hovena with an H. And before we get into our usual series, there's something I need to announce. We've got a special guest with us this week to help us review this week of manga and help us fill out the void Dr. Nova has left in his absence. Our guest is our fellow ODAR writer and the co-admin of the said One Piece RP forum, alongside Jonah. There you may know him as Falcon Seagrief, Olivia's Gren, Grant Chandra, Eltard Valier, and Tarami Kazu. From episode 3 onwards, he is the main writer of World Triggered and one of the leading creative minds in Team ODAR. He is the voice of Arashiyama June in the aforementioned Abridged series. He is a competitive Pokemon trainer, and being Finnish, closest to me geographically. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, 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 our very own Greil9!
Hello! Woo. Well, now that overlong introduction is over, should we head to the manga, or do you just want to talk a random shit for a while?
I think we should head straight to the manga this week.
Yeah, we are. Everyone needs to
dash.
Right.
Alright, no random shit, just manga. Good, let's go. Efficient!
Okay, One Piece. Yep, chapter 870. The chapter where we suddenly figure out how the hell we're getting out of this shit clusterfuck. Well, not shit clusterfuck, just general clusterfuck where everything looks shit for our heroes. Because Big Mom is beating the shit out of Big Father Beige without actually trying. We get a couple of pages of her just punching him with her bare fists without using devil fruit powers, with her entire army just standing behind watching her. It's really not looking good for the heroes because Beige is just getting beaten the shit out of. And Nami has to warn Luffy that there's no reason for them to go out and get killed fighting Big Mom because they've literally completed all of their tasks apart from escaping alive, which I think is a big one, but
Kinda crucial.
We then, if my computer can keep up with me, which it can't. Okay. We then get the emergence of Beige's plan for people to actually escape from this situation. He essentially points out that Big Father's great for defense, but not very mobile, so he can turn back into his normal form and have Caesar fly them out of Big Cake Plateau and hopefully not get killed along the way. Everyone kind of points out this plan has a lot of holes, but the main one being it has the same number of holes that Beige will have if he tries it. And as they're having an argument, Sanji goes and talks to his father because, honestly, this needed to be addressed at some point, and has a really badass speech where he pulls him down by his beard to eye level and redelivers the line of "You are not my father," and it's badass.
Yeah.
And it gives the Germa 66 a motivation to have their sort of tragic last stand as they leave to cover the Beige and the Straw Hats' escape, with their whole sort of tsundere thing of we're not doing this because you're my son or anything, Baka.
Well, all right then, go on then.
So I believe Germa 66 is being badass, as they literally get every cool pose they possibly can while fending off Big Mom, fighting seriously as she just throws fire everywhere. Annoyingly, we then have a scene where the only girl in the group has to be saved, but I kind of give it a don't give it a pass, but it's kind of cool because Sanji and Luffy jump out with one of some of their most powerful attacks directly against Big Mom, while arguing about how the other one wasn't meant to get involved.
Yeah. Okay. I think on the note of Reiju, I don't entirely disagree. However, I will add a caveat of she is the most sympathetic Vinsmoke out of the lot, so it makes sense that she is the one that they would leap to defend.
Yeah, as the story's been set up so far, it makes sense. It's just slightly unfortunate that the story's been set up with the one female member being the emotional heart and the most sympathetic.
Yes, that is kind of a recurring thing throughout a lot of Oda's writing, which it's a shame.
So then again, her brothers are literal robots. There's nothing interesting about them apart from Yonji actually showing lecherous emotion early on. So yeah, honestly, the entire Germa 66 isn't very well written, apart from maybe Judge.
Yeah. So, Greil, what did you think of this?
I thought this was a really great chapter. Like, this shows how they plan to get out, and even though you say it's a tsundere moment, I'd say judging from how Vinsmoke Judge acted in the past, he really thinks, like, I don't want to be in debt to you. Like, it's just his pride in this whole matter. Like,
Yeah.
what I liked last chapter was that one set of silent panels where you could just tell by looking at the Judge's eyes that he was not satisfied by being saved by Sanji. While everyone else was like, yeah, well, we're getting out of this. Let's go.
It is kind of great that in this entire thing, from the moment the Tea Party turned against him, Judge has had no power, and he knew it. And even now, Sanji and Luffy jumped out to save all the Germa 66 again. It's really cathartic watching this asshole from Sanji's flashback just be shown to be completely out of his league. While still looking reasonably badass for most of this chapter, actually.
Yeah. And we still get, like, Sanji, like, he's still not, like, because I still somehow care about you. It's all because of Zeph. Like, Zeph wouldn't like if I did this. My real dad wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate you, but I'm still a good person. And because I was raised right by my real father.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, this was a really cool moment for Sanji, and it was well executed, even though I don't have much to say about this. But there was also a moment I was looking forward to. Even though this was a bit of a repeat of what we already knew, it was nice to see Chiffon and Big Mom interact. And guys, I may have a tiny question. So Big Mom's one of the.
Why did the Emperor love his child?
Oh, damn it! Oh,
Wait,
yeah.
what did you say?
Cheddar.
You ruined the glorious return of the first Stammer stream running gag. Well, never mind. Everyone, you can buy the "Why Did the Emperor Never Love His Child" t-shirts on Amazon for only $99.95 plus shipping. Ah,
Yay.
you ruined it, Kastor. You ruined it.
Sorry. Sorry, I didn't actually think that was where it was going.
Well, never mind.
So it remains to be seen how they now get out of this shit. I mean, their plan to get out of Big Mom's sight was to use Beige, but now Luffy and Sanji have gone out, so what's their exit strategy?
I think that implies Luffy ever has a strategy.
Yeah, but Sanji, he's smarter.
I imagine their exit strategy is Sanji grabbing Luffy at the point where he realizes they have to leave.
Yes, especially since Sanji can actually follow, because both of them can actually, but because in his Gear 4th, basically Luffy can also moonwalk like Sanji can. So in a way, they can actually follow Caesar.
Yeah, the question is, like, when they got no one to cover for them, won't they just get shot down by everyone?
I imagine they would, which is why I imagine they're just going to raise so much shit. there's like a smoke screen of chaos that they can slip out in. It's not a great plan unless you're the protagonists and things can just about work out for you.
Yeah, but I just think, like, Sanji has been shown to be the smart one. He wouldn't just go out without some kind of plan to follow.
Well, I think the end of this chapter showed that he acted out of emotion on this. He didn't actually think this one entirely through. But
Possible.
hey, we'll find out.
Yeah, we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I just wonder, like, Sanji usually has a plan in these kind of situations, so just wondering what it is.
I'm really hoping all the plan. Yeah, I'm really hoping all the plan is do this, do that. Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. Girls will sleep with me.
Okay. I think I know what his plan is. His plan is to grab Pudding back with him.
I'd be interested to see if that was
That
it.
actually would work, because Big Mom still needs Pudding for her plans because of that third eye, so using her as a human shield or something, that would work.
Well, I don't think it would be in Sanji's character to use her as a human shield, but
Yeah, no. I would be interested to see how that goes, because it works, but there was that scene where Sanji caught Nami, and then we have that tiny panel of Pudding's reaction to seeing that.
yeah.
And then
Yeah,
we cut on. And I'd
yeah.
be really interested to see if instead Pudding starts. I want to see how the hell that scene works out, because it was so small but so focused upon.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Pudding's probably gonna play some part, because she's been built as a big part of this arc, so having her do nothing in the climax would kind of be disappointing, I guess.
Yeah,
I'm really hoping to have her be like a continuous figure as we move into the finale of One Piece.
Yeah, I think this chapter kind of builds the Big Mom Pirates up to be that kind of force, which is kind of always behind the Straw Hats, which is not perhaps a way of storytelling that Oda usually utilizes.
It was interesting to see the entire scene at the start, where you very much get the impression if Big Mom or her family were trying, everyone would be dead by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm guessing at the beginning, no one wanted to get in the way, because we've seen Big Mom doesn't spare her children when she's on a rampage.
Yeah.
They just figure, she can take care of this, and I don't want to die.
Yeah. It's throughout the first few arcs of the New World, I've been a bit concerned about the idea that the Straw Hats seem a bit too powerful in universe. I couldn't actually quite place them in like the power level of what can they do, what can't they do. And this entire arc has essentially shown that they cannot fuck with the Four Emperors at the moment. They are nowhere near powerful enough. They're getting through this on the skin of their teeth.
Yeah, Luffy had to go full Gear 4 and then, like, fight in a different way using that to even take out one of her minions.
And even then had Nami to help.
Yes.
And so many things have just happened to fall in their favor. With Jinbei turning up, with Sanji being able to save Germa 66 and them joining their side. The Straw Hats are always lucky, but this again feels like everything had to fall exactly in place for them to still be alive at this point.
Yeah, which is kind of what makes this arc so interesting. But I think this, looking back on it, I think this arc really is a standout among all the New World story arcs.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to figure out what I'd compare it to beforehand.
I mean, okay, there was the God Usopp moment. Nothing can compare to that, obviously. But yeah, this comes as a close second.
Yeah, I'd always compare it to that fight Luffy had with Aokiji.
Oh.
If that was stretched into an arc.
Yeah.
Because at that point we were shown right before Impel Down, no, right before Ennie's lobby, like exactly where the Straw Hat stood on the power level of this world, and then they took a step up against CP9. So I'm interested if this is this is where the Straw Hats stand. They can't fight the Four Emperors, but they then take a step up as we move into the Wano arc and Kaido. How that's going to go down.
But now should we move on, since some of our times are limited?
You're right.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Okay.
We're switching things up, so let's move on to We Never Learn.
Alrighty, I'll hold on a tick. Alright, We Never Learn. So we had a double week, so chapter 20 and 21. So the first chapter, Ogata's glasses break, and she needs to wear a different pair that isn't like an old pair that she keeps as backup, but they're not very good, so she has to constantly squint all day, and she looks very angry. And they have quite a funny series of gags based on misunderstandings that she's angry. People think that she's angry with her, specifically Yuiga and Furuhashi, about the whole accidental kiss drama thing, when actually she's not. And that's quite consistently amusing. And then the second half of the chapter, Yuiga clues into this. They don't stretch the gag out for a whole chapter. He figures out that she's not wearing the right glasses, and basically he escorts her through the hall, and she decides to take her glasses off because she doesn't need them. And then people start commenting on the fact that she looks really nice without them. And then she asks Yuiga, do I look better without the glasses? And we kind of get the sense that he thinks she does, but he doesn't say it directly enough for her to hear it. And then Furuhashi comes along and pushes Yuiga into her because she thinks, oh, I guess there was only one way to sort out the problem.
Shove his
She's still
face into her
angry.
tits!
So, yeah, shove his face into her tits. And and I like how she's labeled war criminal and he's just labeled pervert in the lecture afterwards. And meanwhile, Takamoto is stuck waiting for her study buddies and having no idea what's going on.
This was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah,
they
I
sure
really
are
like
late.
this. And then, kind of in traditional fashion, every time there's a double chapter, the second chapter is never as nearly as good.
Yeah.
So this one, Yuiga gets a new phone, and Takamoto reads online that studying in the bath helps with studying. And so he tries to study in the bath, and calls each of them individually. And of course, they're all in the bath as well. So we get a series of gags that kind of about them realizing the other one's in the bath, and it's mostly just the dumb fan service chapter. But there is one gag I actually quite like, which is where you've kind of got into this routine of, oh, you're studying in the bath too, and then he gets to Takamoto, and she's like, nah, I'm just washing myself in the bath like a normal person. That actually got a laugh out of me, because I'm like, yeah, of course she would be studying there.
I'd be expecting her to be doing laps, to be honest.
But yeah, and then at the end, she accidentally FaceTimes herself naked to Yuiga, and he drops his phone in the bath and breaks it. So he needs to get it fixed.
And it's sad because he's poor.
Yeah. I mean, even the second chapter, I got that one gag did make me laugh, even if generally it is just kind of a fan service chapter without much substance to it. But the first one was genuinely quite sweet and funny, so I think that one wins out of these two.
Yeah, I couldn't read the second chapter, because I don't think it's released yet elsewhere.
Yeah, me too. But the first one was all right, I guess.
Yeah,
harem romance is not really my thing.
Fair,
So
that is
I just
fair.
kind of skim over these so I can stay with the conversation.
My problem is I found out harem manga really are my thing, and it's a problem.
This is kind of the opposite. What the 20th chapter is kind of the opposite of what Jonah complained about before. Since Ogata's not being plain daft in this story, but instead the plot is still driven by her primary character flaw, her refusal to admit her weaknesses. So yeah, me like this.
Yeah. Yes.
No, I thought generally when we have 2 weeks, we have a double chapter of World Trigger. One of them's good, and one of them has a really cringy moment.
There are two
World
chapters.
Trigger?
There are 2 new chapters of World Trigger.
Are there?
Wait!
You just said that.
You just said World Trigger. instead
Oh
of-
fuck! Did I? Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry, I meant
You
we never
gave
learned.
me hope and they
Everything was double.
dashed it brilliantly. Bravo, sir! Or how did that
Yeah,
quote go?
I
I
wrote
gotta
it
say.
myself.
You ruined everything today, Kastor.
I do. I always do.
Yeah.
I'm glad we worked out my part in this podcast.
Although I didn't get to read chapter 21, I did get to read the omake before that.
Oh,
In which there are some cheesy
It's just stretching its swimsuits.
yeah.
All right.
It turns out
they
that-
didn't include this in Jump, so
Yeah.
oh no, what have I missed out on?
was there a reason why?
Yeah,
They were just stretching for swim practice that was coming up.
yeah, and then Takamoto saw Yuiga, and then they decided not to go somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, it turns out that the author, instead of putting all his fan service in the last page of the chapter, like in the first one, now just has an entire market dedicated to cheesecake every now and then.
It's fine.
Well, the last omake wasn't for cheesecake mostly. It was actually for a funny joke, I think.
Oh, I can't remember that.
It was when they thought they were in a desert island, abandoned there when their boat crashed.
All right.
I didn't read that either. I need to look these up. They sound
Yeah,
quite
it was
fun.
just a little funny one where like they all figure like, okay, this is how I can help. I can get these animals to come so we can get food out of them. I can separate poisonous plants from edible. And then Takamoto just swims to a nearby island to buy stuff for a grocery store that was like a few kilometers away, so I didn't just say, okay, I'll also call for help for these guys. She just went and bought the food.
All right.
But let's move on, shall we?
Yeah, let's move on to. Are you ready with Fairy Tale, Kastor?
I can do Fairy Tale.
All right then.
It's a pretty condensed chapter. Well, it's not a condensed chapter. It goes on like my writing style. But chapter 541 of Fairy Tale. I can essentially split this into 4 different sections. We start with about 7 pages of all the Dragon Slayers that got immediately freed at the end of last chapter, doing combo moves and finishing attacks in Sacnologia. I say combo moves because essentially just two or three of them run at him at the same time with their fists, and not exactly what you call a combo move, but hey, they're working together, and they have no effect because the dude literally eats magic and nothing can touch him, and he just ends it with, "I'm the strongest dragon in the world." Obviously, not a bad line. But 7 pages of rather uninteresting combat was a bit of a stretch for it.
It was actually just 5, one of which was them staring at him.
Okay, I counted that as them fighting. Okay, that's even fun. Okay, that's quite funny as well. I've also just noticed on the next page, Mira Jane apparently has been bandaged up, but they only gave her a cape that fastens at her neck.
Yeah, that was strange.
Yeah.
Stranger is that Hero didn't put her up front and center, just kind of in the background there.
I know.
Yeah.
It's meant
Also,
to
I will note, you said, okay, I am the strongest dragon. The Crunchyroll translation says the answer is obvious when it comes to strength. I am number 1. And as soon as you said I am number 1 and pointed up, I had to bring up, yes, that meme.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah,
Yeah, okay, that's pretty sweet. Okay, but we then cut back to Magnolia, where essentially everyone else who's not Apocalypse Dragon is trying to figure out how to kill Apocalypse Dragon, and they keep coming up with ideas before realizing, oh yeah, this guy eats magic. There's literally nothing we can do to stop him. Before Lucy goes, hang on, you remember that time we all held hands in a circle and said we believe in fairy tales? So there is one spell that has been shown to work against Agnologia, and that's Fairy Sphere. Mavis's most powerful technique that saved them all during the S-Rank Island arc.
Yeah, the Tenor arc.
Tenor, yeah.
And so kudos for foreshadowing. I'm looking forward to see when this goes, and it is quite a nice point that they realize, oh shit, no one knows this spell, because it could have very easily been Makarov just going, oh yes, now I'm not dead anymore for no apparent reason. I can easily cast this spell because bullshit. So we actually have to have the characters work together as Agnologia's body just rains hell across Magnolia. As they realize, okay, we've got to distract him, we've got to figure out how to get him in place, and we've got to find out how to cast this spell. The fact that their plan of essentially immobilizing him long enough to cast Fairy Sphere is, oh yeah, remember Dragon Slayers all get horribly motion sick, is a bit for the final clash.
Well,
I'm looking forward to seeing how that goes.
I'd say, like, I don't mind too much. It's obvious they're not thinking, okay, this will keep him in place while we do it. It's like, this will hold him for a few seconds so we got a small window to trap him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no one's expecting that would be what finishes him. Just something that keeps him holding for just enough time to give them a moment to cast the magic.
Oh yeah, it's just the weirdest thing of Heroes got his entire series to grab from, and what recurring aspect should I bring in for the finale? Oh yeah, remember when Natsu randomly gets motion sick?
You know,
yeah.
as goofy as it is, it's something that's been an element of the story for a long time, since the beginning, since the first chapter. So seeing it implemented as a serious plot point is perfectly okay in my eyes.
Yeah.
It's not bad, it's just weird.
I did kind of take a moment like, oh wow, that's going to be really crucial. Okay.
Also, we learn what Agnologia's ultimate motivation is.
Oh yeah. For the
Just
guy
destroying everything because.
For the
That's
guy
actually kind of badass.
Apocalypse Dragon, funnily enough, his goal is the apocalypse. And then Natsu gives a sort of "we are fairy tale, friendship will defeat you," blah 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 blah. I wish Hiro had actually shaded this instead of just drawing a load of lines across it.
Yeah.
Then we have the actually cool bit where everyone splits up and we have the entire cast of this series spreading out to all be partially useful in this finale.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Okay. I think
And
I like the fact that they're utilizing everyone. I think the one thing I will say is that Lucy being such a key player here and like figuring out the plan makes me think even more earlier on when she was writing in Zeref's book that should have been Levi because her magic is related to that, and Lucy has a really crucial part here. So what gives?
Well,
I didn't really mind that part since...
Lucy has been shown to be a writer, even though she doesn't utilize the same kind of magic Levi did, which she does a little bit, I think. It fits with her thematically, so I don't have anything against it.
Yeah, and I didn't mind that point just because I thought the point of I'll just rewrite this book that is Natsu was so stupid I didn't care about what's around it. I mean, when you have an apple that's completely rotten, you don't care if you see a worm in it.
Fair dues.
About Lucy being a writer, I vaguely remember it being occasionally mentioned, but it always if you look at it without the thing of don't think about fairy tale, it just feels like Lucy wanted to be is an amateur author and just really can't get anything done because Levy's literally it is her power to the point where it's just I need to get a job. I need to get a job because I'm not getting any money from the guild anymore. I'll go work for this magazine. Oh look, all I'm good at is the pin-up cover.
Oh right, I forgot about that.
Yeah, if Hero wanted her to be a good writer, he really shot himself in the foot at every opportunity he had.
She's a page 3 girl.
She's a page 3 girl that managed to work her way onto the editorial staff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna say that having read this chapter and the next one, I'm liking how the finale is shaping up. Like, they got a plan that has logical elements to it that have been established before. Most everyone is contributing to it, at least. And Archaeology comes off like this is a threat that no one could face alone.
Like, they couldn't just have the Dragon Slayers take him out easily, and you get that.
Yeah. So I asked, what the hell was Zera's plan if he thought this infinite magic will allow me to destroy Archaeology in the past? Except Natsu beat you with a punch, and Natsu's punch against Archaeology is like, bitch, please, you and all 7 of you, you're not doing anything to me.
I'd imagine that Archaeology has actually had a major power-up with the, like, rifts of time. And I think Zera's original plan was like, I can't beat Technology now, so I'm going to go back to the point where he was weak enough that I could kill him. It's a bit bullshit, but I can see it.
All right.
Maybe just mostly me bitching about how dumb that part was.
Oh yeah, that was utter shit.
Yeah, what we have in Fairy Tail now is miles above the rest of the arc.
Thing is,
to the point, I'd call it good.
That's the thing. This setup is good. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes, but I read Fairy Tail for a while now, so I'm now just wondering how Hero is going to fuck it up and make me hate this arc.
We'll see. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Cross Account, the final chapter.
Oh boy. Well, so yeah, this was the least fun train wrecky of them all.
God.
Unfortunately. So he's got his ticket to the handshaking event, and she is super nervous about this. The actress Nanoka, but she resolves to, stick it out. Like, okay, I'm gonna see you for myself. I've only known you on social media. I want to know who you are. So she's trying to look out for him among the other people at the event, and meanwhile he's just live tweeting it. They've got another name for the social media, but it is just Twitter. That's all it is. So I'm gonna call it that. We get one sliver of an interesting moment in this chapter where she realizes everything about his description that he told her could be a lie. And she suddenly doubts herself wanting to see him. Like, it's fine just knowing you online. I don't want to ruin the online friendship we had, which is kind of interesting to me because, like, that's one feature of not only online friendships but online relationships where you kind of sometimes people form connections with people that they never meet IRL and they don't have a sense of that.
So speaking of which, Stammer stream.
Yeah, but then that he shows up and she just instantly knows it's him. She's like, oh, the moment I saw him, and okay, potentially interesting moment gone. All right. So he just opens up and confesses to her the story of how he first fell for her, of how her smile just kept him going, even though she was probably working very hard at the same age as him, and everyone's like, oh, whoa, is he actually confessing to her? Oh god, he's so dumb. And then she like
Here's the thing.
Yeah, then we like get a flashback to her reaction when she found out that she was the one he had a crush on. And she's like, I'm not gonna laugh at you. And she clutches his hand and holds it up. This big moment. She's like, I could actually begin to love being my actress self thanks to you. And she doesn't actually say this. This is like in her head. And then she goes, you were the first person who's ever said anything like that to me. Thank you.
The fuck?
Yes. And then the first part, beautiful superstar actress who everyone loves. She tells him he is the first person who has actually said this. So he leaves, and then she messages him as her online pseudonym, and she's like, maybe you'll see her in the future. So I guess the dynamic going forward is she has a doubled identity, and she knows who he is, but he doesn't know that the actress is actually her, and we're just gonna stick with that. So yeah, This chapter had like, a hint of an interesting idea and kind of threw it away. And apart from that, it was just kind of the most forgettable of the three.
Wait, hang on. 3 of us still haven't been able to find this thing online. Are we sure this is actually in Jump? It isn't just some bullshit fan fiction someone's forcing people to read.
Nope, it's actually in Jump.
Oh,
Yeah, and you know what? I've tried looking up a little bit of response to this series, and seems it's mostly positive.
Wow.
Yeah, there are a lot of idiots in the world.
Yeah, there are a lot of nice guys. In
That's
inverted
the
commas.
problem.
The commas.
It's this the fact that it's just like, oh my god, you're the first, your really creepy confession to the person you've only met for the first time, but have
In a public event.
in a public event, this person that you've only seen on TV, never interacted with, put on a pedestal, and pretty much invented their personality from how you've seen them act with other people. That's rewarded with, oh my god, you're the only person who said a nice thing to me. Me, the famous idol that's one of the most famous in the world and everyone really loves.
God, yeah, no, her attraction to him makes no bloody sense at all.
It's
I now imagine that people like that in Japan will start just confessing to idols.
as if they don't already.
Yeah, they do. and I'm sure they have like a stage way of waving it off while still looking nice, but
That's called security.
Oh, you're the first person who has ever said that to me. Oh god, it'll be pretty
Shoot him now.
funny if
Take him out.
that was actually it.
It's
Thank you, but I'm married to my work as an idol or whatever.
thank you, but I have standards.
Yeah. All right. Shall we move on?
I think so.
Yeah, strangely enough, I don't at least have much to say about this.
Doesn't seem like anything happened.
Yeah,
It's
not much.
from what you said about the last few chapters. It's pretty much what I would have expected this chapter to go. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I thought they might actually have had a thing where they just like both like she thought she didn't know who it was and thought he was somebody else. So it was just like continuous mistaken identities. But no, that would have been interesting and well written.
No, it's like it's a one-way mistaken identity where there's like
Mhm.
literally no reason for them not to get together, really. So yeah.
So bullshit.
Anyway,
Yeah.
what's next?
Next is Food Wars, I think.
Right.
All right, my turn. So, we start with Megishima's cooking stuff, and does anyone really here understand most of that? I just thought, like, he's gonna make African ramen, use peanuts and chili. Rindo's also gonna use chili.
Yeah,
and one of the chairwoman is drunk from that one sip.
Oh, God,
and somehow
yeah.
that makes her even more accurate in her tasting.
This manga is so wonderfully dumb sometimes.
Yeah, and then the one interesting part, I'll say, well, one part that's actually worth recapping for me because I personally am not a very good chef. So, it's Souma gathering allies for this battle. Like, Kuga comes right away, Subaru right away, and God, why do I suddenly not remember the Polaris Storm?
Megashima.
Ishiki. Yeah,
Ishiki.
Ishiki comes right away. But Megashima says, no, fuck you. Well,
Yeah.
okay, he just says,
I don't
re-
fucking know you.
How
Yeah,
did you
we don't
get
know.
this number?
Like, shows he initially didn't want to join. And yet, now there he is. We don't know why. So even he says, like, he wouldn't have... He may say he usually was not interested in matches, so he seemed rather passive, as his look
Yeah.
did show. With that woolly cap, he always seemed like, how is this guy interesting? But now with that, I don't know, bandana around his head, he's suddenly looking a lot more fired up and cool,
Yeah.
and says, that guy's passion really hit me hard.
So I'd be willing to bet that guy is not Souma.
Yeah.
Well, so he's in the panel next to him when...
And he's not Chitoge from Nisekoi either, as we got from that one.
Yeah.
That one lined up group shot.
Yeah, this chapter has also some great interactions between Rindo and Magishima, and I'm interested if they dive into their relationship.
Yeah, and like it seems like we're setting up. Like I mean, I really like his gimmick of African ramen. I want to see where that goes. I like how like she's instantly seen like, oh, you're doing chili, well I'm gonna out chili you. So I'll be interested to see like how they manage to make the two chili recipes different, how they'll differentiate from each other. But rather than just being, I hope it's not just this one is more spicy than the other, which I don't think it will be.
Also, to answer your earlier question, Greil, we usually have Jonah here to explain the cooking, so now we're all at a loss.
None of us have any
good.
clue.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say this chapter and the last have made me actually care about Megishima. Earlier it was like, oh, he's probably just gonna get knocked out to show how tough someone else is. But now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, I want to know what this guy's deal is.
Yeah.
And why he was not into Azami's regime, and what his relationship actually is with the rest of the former Council of Ten.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because it looks like he has a really interesting backstory that it would have been really useful going into this fight instead of being dumped on us halfway through.
Then
Yeah,
again,
well,
I think it
though
works
it
well in
is
this
kind of-
fight when we get to see like hints of it before it's revealed.
Yeah, like actually, like we've had hints of Tsukasa throughout the entire thing, but I'm still. So when that flashback in the fight comes, I'm looking forward to that. But this guy's has had nothing before.
I do wonder if this is a result of the fact that they very clearly had to rush to the finale of this whole saga / arc. Like you could very much feel like, oh, we had each of these stages in the exam to get through. Oh no, we're gonna skip ahead to the final now. I have a feeling that maybe he was originally meant to be introduced during one of those middle stages, but because the ratings were going down, they were like, we need to speed this up.
That
possible.
makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, though I have to mention that this is kind of what we predicted what would happen with how we're going to find out Magishima's reasons for joining. After all this, I'm okay with it being introduced in a flashback.
I'm still. This continues the trend of what it did for me from last week. Of I'm just really enjoying this fight a lot more than the previous ones. I like the two gimmicks. Rindo is a complete joy on screen. She has such an energy that keeps it interesting, and Megashima contrasts that really well. Yeah.
Yep. And I respect your wrong opinion on it.
You're the one who is wrong.
You're one of those people who think like, everyone else in the world does not agree with me. Could I be wrong? I'm just the only one who sees the light. Everyone else is an idiot.
I'm sure there are other people in the world who agree with him.
Yeah, but let's take a stand here. All four of us disagree with him, and yet we're the ones in the wrong.
Yeah. Have you not seen Trump's America?
He didn't win the popular vote, though.
And I love that Americans just realizing they're not technically a democracy. They're a republic. And it's just like, oh, shit. World politics.
Yeah, but yeah, this chapter is above all else a great tease of what's to come. So yeah, consider me interested in the flashback.
So let's move on.
All right then. Okay, if Greil says so. All right.
Like we invited him on this one time, but suddenly.
Okay.
Well, we're pressed for time, so we gotta keep moving.
That is true. I have 10 minutes before I gotta run.
Right. So, My Hero Academia. That chapter 100 and. Eh?
Sorry, no. I'm glad I'm here for this one. I loved this chapter.
Okay. That's chapter 143. And so it turns out that this chapter we don't open with a flashback, as the battle of Fat Gum and Kirishima versus Tengai and Rappa continues. Rappa, or as I like to call him, Fisty McPunchface, tells Tengai to lower the barrier so that he can punch the hero without any restraint. Kirishima feels guilty about having been cocky and now being protected by Fat Gum, who dukes it out with Rappa one-on-one. Tengai thinks his eyes are ones of someone who has been defeated by fear. But it turns out that that's not the only thing Fat Gum's doing. He's also getting ready to use a secret technique that absorbs the enemy's attacks and turns it into his more offensive, hotter form.
Yeah.
Then
Fat Gum is Joji, which, when you realize that Horikoshi was inspired by Naruto, makes a lot of sense.
Yep. So Fat Gum can't find any opening to use his technique, but then Kirishima jumps in front of him, acting as his momentary shield, and giving him the opening he required, although turning a bit tattered in the process. So yeah.
This chapter did a really good job of investing me a lot more in this fight, because I wasn't quite sure about this going in, because I would rather have had a different set of characters, cough cough, the female ones. We discussed this last week. But this chapter really sold me on what the point of giving Kirishima another fight was. He's like, God, I just had this ultimate form and I'm already like, I can't use it against these guys, like, offensively,
or even defensively.
Yeah, like kind of his feeling of like uselessness, and then like his big show of allowing Fat Gum to charge up his last attack. So yeah.
Yeah, and this way, we've essentially given Kirishima a really good mentor figure in Fat Gum here. Yeah. Their powers work really well. They work off each other really nicely. And it was really cool to see it. I loved Fat Gum in this chapter. I know I have a thing for like a power up that changes the physicality of the user. So it was really cool to suddenly realize, oh wait, he's been losing weight in all of these scenes, and I just thought he was getting his shit pushed in. So when he finally throws the punch in his, as Cheddar put it, his hot form. It was like, oh, this is amazing. And not just because it was the hot form.
Yeah. Even though this wasn't what I was expecting, I thought this was a great chapter. Rapper's a simple enough concept for a villain, but for some reason his fight with Fat Gum really made him stand out to me among all the 8 bullets or whatever the mini-boss squad was called.
And it works that he and Tengai obviously don't get along. Like, it shows some different kind of relationship where last guys were all buddy buds, and these two are together just because their quirks fit, but their personalities really don't. I mean, Rappa's trying to kill Tengai at one point, I think.
It reminds me a lot of kind of Hidan and Kakuzu from Naruto, when you had a focus on a villain pairing that was kind of dysfunctional and argued a lot.
Oh yeah.
And those are always a lot of fun.
So another Naruto connection.
Oh yeah, it's definitely there. No, it was I enjoyed this fight far more than the Tamaki one. I thought this was great.
Yeah.
Not that the Tamaki one was bad. I didn't think it was.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there.
Even though this arc has kept me I've been kind of down on this arc. Not that it was bad, but just wasn't to that height. This reminds me why at some points I consider Hero Aka my favorite manga that's currently running.
Mm-hmm.
The kind of same feeling that I got during the UA Sports Festival arc.
Yes.
Yeah, it's cool heroes being really, really cool.
Yeah, and Kirishima's big moment was, even though it was pretty standard as far as shonen character arcs go, it was nicely executed, so yeah. Props for that.
Showing just how little he actually did, and how that little still made a difference for Fat Gum.
Yeah, because we're still showing like the power levels between pro heroes, the third years, and the first years. In that, all Kirishima could do was block a couple of hits, but that was all Fat Gum needed to win because he is a pro. It was really cool. Sorry, I'm just.
In the end, it shows he blocked one more attack, and then delivered one attack that never even reached them because of the barrier.
Oh, did he strike back? I missed that. That's pretty cool.
So, shall we move on to the Promised Neverland?
Let's.
Yep.
I might run at this point,
Oh.
so I will
Alright.
see you guys next week.
Yeah.
All right. See you.
See you, man.
Okay. See you guys. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. So, the demons can't seem to find Ray, as he's been picked up by the cloaked rider. The leader sees through Ray's lies about all the other kids being dead, as we get a little more character from him, and he swears that he will bring 81194 and all the other children back. And guys, I have no choice. I have to call him Javert. Think about it. He's the enforcer of the authorities who keeps chasing after people whom he calls after the 5-digit number, not the given name. He's totally Javert.
Yes.
Are you saying Javert wanted to eat Valjean?
Maybe that was why he was so driven. Like, that was his deep character motivation the whole time.
And in the end, he threw himself in the river just because it was better than dying by starvation. Which, after, I don't know, how many years was it that he was looking for Valjean?
20 years.
I'd say he was probably better off dying, though. Kudos for his guts for staying alive that long.
Maybe he really wanted to steal that. He wanted to eat that loaf of bread, but then he saw Valjean eat it. So yeah.
All right.
So
anyway,
so Ray speculates about the cloaked rider being William Minerva, then passes out. He wakes up with a cell alongside Emma, and indeed he was planning to go to area B0634. Without the pen, just memorizing the bloody coordinates and using his baby memories as a compass. So then Emma wakes up, and I love this one panel where Ray looks genuinely happy about his friend being okay. It's really not an expression we usually get from him. So
their whole reunion is very sweet.
Yeah. They speculate about the identities of the cloaked figures, whom they assign genders to, and they think they might be allies of Minerva, but it turns out they don't know him. Then the cloaked figures appear, one after another. The woman appears to be happy Emma's recovered, and takes them to where she says the rest of the kids are. We learned that the rider's name is... Sangtyo, or at least I think that's how that's what Google tells me it's pronounced. I hope I transcribed it correctly, but it's been established before that I'm a bad phonetician. So then something in the lantern, I think, makes Ray come to the conclusion that the two are in fact demons. Dun 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 dun. Done. Done.
All right.
And it's the other one's right behind them with the spear.
Yes.
That could still be malevolent intent. Hard to tell, but
Yeah.
I love the implications of this chapter and the questions it raises.
Yes.
Like, are there really demons who are allies to human? Why? Or do they just have their own malevolent interest?
Yes.
Or...
I think for me, it's like I appreciated this chapter for what it didn't do, which sounds strange, because I had a version of this chapter in my head where they follow them down, and then it's suddenly revealed, oh, but they're doing evil, dastardly thing. They're suddenly, it's meant to be a shock factor reveal that they're evil, and Ray and Emma are totally shocked by this, and I was worried because that wouldn't really give us quite enough breathing room after they just got out of the last trial, and it would also it doesn't really leave much to the imagination, whereas this way they already, not only have Ray and Emma already identified a potential problem, showing that they are resourceful and intelligent protagonists, but it leaves it open to, hey, maybe maybe they're not. It could be a misassumption, and it gives this chapter a little more of a sense of breathing room.
Yeah.
So
At least this does show the demons are in separate factions. Whether or not these guys are trying to help the kids, they're still clearly not on the side of the other ones. Yes.
So if I could make a prediction, and if I were to be extremely pessimistic, I'd say that next chapter we'll find out that the two are actually humans, and that Ray was wrong to assume they were demons, and then Ray will say, oh my bad, I guess we just needed a cliffhanger for the chapter.
Yeah, no.
But
If I was to
We
make-
need an explanation for why he'd looked at that lantern and made the assumption that they were demons.
yeah. Also, I have mixed feelings about this one, mostly due to the fact that Ray saying these suspicions out loud isn't a very good tactical move. They're in the middle of unknown territory. They don't know where all the other kids are. So this isn't really the time to be a cocky smartass, but rather a good time to lay low until, they aren't cornered by two adults of ambiguous species who can presumably easily capture them like they did.
I would play the devil's advocate here and say, if Ray is saying that out loud, he has a good reason to suspect that they are at least not hostile. Maybe like if they wanted to kill us or at least like keep us, they would have restrained us rather than left us to sleep unguarded in this room.
Yeah. Also, on the other hand, it makes sense for Ray to do that if he were to do something stupid, because this is his primary character flaw. So it can all depend on how it's framed next chapter, really.
All right, shall
Well,
we
we'll
look
just
at
have to see
Dr.
next
Stone?
week.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Stone.
I guess we'll find out next time. Right, Dr. Stone.
All right, so we start off with recapping the last time where Kohaku says she's totally fallen for Senku, and he pretty much says all your problems with this and most of everyone's problems with this. Like, oh, why in this place? Love is so stupid. But Kohaku immediately goes, no, I didn't mean that. I just wanted to give this an ending cliffhanger, and I'm actually just looking to work with you.
I'm just taking notes from Kaio Shirai.
Yeah, but yeah, we also see that Senku kind of doesn't really think highly of love because of the illogic that it puts people in. So I'm guessing later he is gonna fall for Kohaku, and that's gonna be some sort of character arc for that.
Or maybe he'll just stay like Luffy from One Piece and just never have any romantic interest in anyone.
Yeah, I'm just thinking like with that line, it's kind of like the setup for it. So
Yeah.
next night they just sleep, and Kohaku keeps her knives close because Senku said something about love. So she's just thinking like, okay, I can't trust this pervert, I guess. So next morning, the two decide to work together because Tsukasa is someone neither of them can beat on their own. So Kohaku says that Senku should follow her back to her village, so there is a lot of more people out there. But she also wants to take some hot water for her older sister. But Senku sees that with her injuries from Tsukasa, she really shouldn't be doing that. So he wants to be the man, help the lady out, and immediately fall flat on his face because he isn't strong. He is a geek. That's a really funny panel. Like, one panel just, you haven't recovered. You should try to do it on your own. Give it to me. Next panel, he's flat on his face. We don't even see him falling.
Yeah.
But instead, he does help in a way that Senku would, because he uses the materials from the pulley and everything that was available otherwise, like the knives Kohaku used at the front, to create some sort of vehicle, I guess, that gets them there much faster without manpower, as well as covered in a jar with some leather, fabric, something, though the water doesn't get out while they're going super fast.
Yeah, so we've
then
already
we
invented
get-
a car.
Except this car doesn't have anything to push it forward. It's just they're going downhill, so...
Yeah.
And it seems the car also breaks at the end. At least that's what it looks like. Hard to tell. Might also be them from earlier when they were putting it together. But, get to the village. So, we see that there are about 40 people living in this village, which is on some sort of plateau above, I think, a river. Hard to tell in black and white. And then we get portraits from everyone in the village that I do not give a crap about because we don't know how many of these characters will be relevant.
Oh, I do.
I do note that, for one, I think the one right below Kohaku is her older sister mentioned because they have the exact same eyes. I mean, Ruri's are a little bit smaller, but the color's the same. They have the same kind of hair, same kind of face, same kind of expressions, so pretty sure that's her older sister.
Yeah.
And for some reason, some of them have below their names something like Hagane, steel, like elements, or though few are something like Iron Dog or Guardian Spirit or Shovel.
I was gonna say in the translation I'm reading, some of them are named like, ooh, are we having a crossover with Steven Universe because we got Jasper, Ruby, Sapphire, and Garnet.
You know what? There's this one bald guy this one bald Scarface bloke who doesn't have a name. So I imagine I imagine this would be Steven.
Yeah. My theory with him is that he's a mute, so he couldn't say a name, so they didn't give him one.
Well, either way, we just see these portraits and I really didn't care for that style, but whatever. It's not that big a deal.
It also looks like we're going to... next time we're going to meet another potential protagonist-like looking character, which is... who is Chrome. The boy with the rope around his head.
Well, they all seem to have rope around some parts, so...
Yeah.
That's not really descriptive for here. But yeah, Senku then speculates, like, how did this happen that there are people awakened way before them so long that there are descendants, generations to talk about? Like, he thinks, like, did someone else with a scientific mind figure out the resurrection formula, but just not share it with anyone, and why? So for now he's just, like, wondering, since he's got nothing solid to go on. But as he approaches the village, two people attack him with spears, though Kohaku is there to block them. And they tell her that there's a rule that they just can't be brought in because of the whole rule about if you're from outside village, then you were exiled, so you cannot be trusted. And that seemingly, they say that there are no humans outside the village. So, I don't know, is there some kind of dogma in the play? Also, the one on the left, anyone else thinks he looks like what Luffy would look like if he was in a JoJo manga, with the outfit, the thing on his back that kind of looks like Luffy's straw hat, the hairstyle, the general body build.
Now that you've pointed it out, yeah.
Let's see, is it near the end, or...?
Yeah, it's the second of the two guards.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah, that's totally what Luffy would look like if he was in JoJo.
Face to the North Star or something.
But yeah, the both like say he can't come in, we can't let you take him. So Kaku says like, oh, okay, that's too bad. It means you're gonna fight me to separate him anyway. Ooh, and 2 against 1. That's bad. Clearly showing like Kohaku could take these two. They don't stand a chance even with superior numbers, so she's probably pretty strong by this village's standards. Not Tsukasa, but then again, if you have her beat the big bad for this arc at least, there's not going to be much of a threat going forward. Yeah. Seems like Senku is gonna win his way over with bubbles. Just bubbles.
Fucking bubbles!
Yeah,
sorry.
To be specific, he like starts washing his hands seemingly in the water they brought in, and then just makes a circle with his fingers and blows some soap bubbles. 2 are so amazed, and one attacks it like, ah! his spear just pops. They're like, what are these strange flying jewels? And Senku just is like, okay, that's their scientific level. So then he makes an awesome evil face, thinking like, fine, I'll take the whole lot. With these 4 people, I will create science and make them my allies. This gets me excited. Kohaku points, you got a really scary face. So we end on, you should go meet Chrome. Why? He's a useful man, more importantly, most lax around here, so he probably won't think like, no outsiders, no outsiders. And that's the chapter, which I really liked.
Yeah. I think, first of all, I will just say I'm really glad that we're not just going with the dynamic of Kohaku's just kind of falling over him and he's just like, I don't know. Like, no, it's like she meant it. Even though it's a bit of a weird reversal to have her suddenly be like, oh, it's a platonic thing. It's just that their interactions throughout this chapter are really fun and make for a lot of good little bits.
Yeah, and it still shows like she's real. She has her own usefulness because she's real strong, like Taiju level strong, with combat capabilities. Since she's been carrying that water several times up and down that hill, in those heels.
Which I still can't understand, but okay, you go.
Yeah, and even then when Senku's like, I'm gonna show I'm the man here. A shonen female can't outshine a shonen male. Flat. Okay, maybe sometimes they can.
So speaking of Kohaku, I still can't bloody imagine why Kastor would think she looks 12. She clearly doesn't.
She really doesn't. Like, she's not even especially petite. Like,
yeah,
she's got pretty regular proportions. If very skinny, as you know, most Shonen Jump female leads are.
Yeah, she's halfway a Milo girl. Yeah.
Yeah, that good old term.
Yeah, but introducing this village also brings up a lot of possibilities. Like, how many of them would trust Senku, and do they have some sort of religious belief almost about science and such from being so long in the dark? Like, if these guys think that's sorcery, this has got to be several generations down the line if the information has got that diluted.
Yeah, I'm wondering what this new character, Chrome, how he will fit into this dynamic we have now with Senku and Kohaku. Just as the replacements for the supporting cast.
Also, I just noticed one of the villager panels on the second page is Sho, who is referred to as Reef or Sunken Rock.
Yeah, that is a thing.
A little nod. But anyway, real good chapter, I think. One that raises a lot of questions that probably we get some kind of answer, at least foreshadowing in the next few chapters.
I'm slightly worried that introducing so many characters at once will the Dr. Stone may lose some of its appeal as these are these few humans who have survived and now have to build a new world here, but I'm still interested in seeing how this will fit into the plot at the moment, into the character dynamic as well.
Also, one thing I would mention, why do so many of these guys carry ropes around their neck? Like, isn't that choking them? Or couldn't that easily choke them if you get caught up on something? Seems like a really counterproductive fashion design.
Well, maybe this is religious, as you said. All right.
Well,
so do we have?
I just have to see.
Eh?
I just said that this is something we're just gonna have to see because it raises a lot of interesting possibilities.
Yeah. So cool chapter, and interested to see what happens next. So, shall we finish things up?
Yep.
Yeah, alright
Let's do
then.
it.
So, thank you for listening to this week of Stammer Stream. Thank you for watching, either on my YouTube channel or live at twitch.tv/Wensleydale Cheddar. We usually try to record on Tuesdays at noon Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. GMT and 6 p.m. GMT +1. You can follow me on Twitter at Cheddar for updates on the stream, on Panganta, Friendly Faces Everywhere, Iffy Reviews, many other projects. Follow Milo at Hoven with an H for anime waifus, Cabal hijinks, and Cabal cast, which is definitely coming, guys, definitely. And follow our special guest, Greil9, at Nuclear Android for complaints about his former job and gaming tweets. Especially about his glorious return to competitive Pokemon.
Possible return. I mean, I still might get lazy, but I'm looking into it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a convention coming up. I've always been in the Pokemon tournament, and I just got some pride in this stuff, you know?
Also, follow Kastor at Kastor UK for absolutely zilch. Be sure to visit our One Piece.
I just mentioned him in a tweet with the she looks about 12, and I'm waiting for the 3 months from now when he actually sees it.
Yeah. So be sure to visit our One Piece RP forum, One Dream Adventure Reborn, to write some lovely stories with us and hang out to talk about manga in general. odar.comforums.com is the address. So, I would usually ask Jonah, but Greil, since you're the other admin, do you have any updates on the Dungeon Crawl event?
Well, the regular threads have ended. Boss threads are up. I think they were already up last time, so... No, not really.
Oh. How's the event treating you, by the way?
It's... Well, I think I'll leave my opinions for when it's over.
Oh. Alright then. Yeah, and of course, thank you for joining us. I had a lot of fun, and we should definitely have you on and next time whenever an occasion might arise. Speaking of which, holy shit, how short will this episode be?
Around hour 20 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's coming up on an hour 20 right now.
Yeah.
Well, on my
Like I
end,
said, efficient, professional.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
On my end, it's only 15 minutes. So, oh well. I guess we'll see, and I'll have to re-record that intro as well. All right then.
Yep.
So once again, thank you, Greil, for coming. And thank you for watching, and we will see you next week. Take care.
Take care.